Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Ashish Jain, Managing Director at Star Housing Finance Limited, joining in. Ashish, welcome to the show and a pleasure to speak to you and get insights from you. Ashish, my first question coming to you is overall, with regards to where business goes, I mean, this has been one of the worst phases that people have actually gone through due to COVID. However, you've been in a sector which actually saw a boom. Overall, how has the impact of COVID been in the last, say, 12 to 18 to 24 months?
First of all, thank you, Hiral. Thanks to you and your team at Nirmal Bank. Thanks for inviting me for this interview. So, regarding your first question about the COVID pandemic, how it impacted our business and industry. So, see, this pandemic was once in a lifetime. So, there are like you don't see this kind of pandemic in your whole lifetime in 100 years or 200 years. So, this was once in a lifetime pandemic, and people were not even ready. People were not aware that how would it impact their life, their business and everything. So definitely it impacted the business most. Like if you say stage wise, it was like the housing finance and the finance industry was impacted a lot. So what we did that in the first pandemic, that the effect was more on the urban cities as compared to the rural areas. And in the second pandemic, there was more impact on rural areas. Where we do operate in the suburban and rural areas. So definitely in first pandemic, we were not aware, the people industry were not aware that how it goes. But in the second pandemic, people were aware that now we have seen the first pandemic, how to take care of those things. So definitely it impacted the business, it impacted the disbursement, collection and everything, the growth and everything. So what we did even during the first pandemic, we do make our customers aware about this thing. People are emotionally attached to their first time home buyer EWS. We do make aware those that what needs to take this whether to government or not, so how to deal with that. So during our first phase, it was mainly to educate.
Ashish, your screen is frozen for us. I think that's a bad network connectivity. I think that Ashish has been facing. We'll just wait for him to join back as well and reconvene on the same. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think now there will be problem. So the COVID, even in the first phase or the second phase, has a huge impact on the business, on the growth and everything. But what was most required, that how do you cope up with this thing? How do you train your people? How do you educate your people, your consumers, your borrowers? I will specifically say about the housing finance industry, about our company and about this industry, that yeah, it do impact a lot. It have a great emphasis on there was a stress on the collection, there was stress on the growth. We didn't do any business in the first 3 months of those COVID one, from April to June. And also we slowed down our business for the next second phase also, which was the COVID-2 pandemic in the month of April and May. This was mainly because it's important to understand the situation, to understand the thing. It's not just about the growth, to understand mainly that how it's going on, how people are coping with this thing and how we are affected. So definitely it was affected, but then slowly and slowly now we are back to our levels. Slowly and slowly after first pandemic also, when it impacted the urban areas, we focused on our things on our side. And during the second also, we do consider a lot on that. What were those things which impacted in the first COVID pandemic that has to be taken care of in this second phase. So now we are back to our pre-COVID levels from this month of August 2021.
Right. So overall, if you go to see in terms of where business goes now, we've seen, I mean, overall, if you see in terms of your loan book as well, if I'm not mistaken, you've already crossed 100 crores right now.
Yeah.
So taking that into consideration, do you think this kind of demand, this kind of growth is sustainable? Because last two quarters, especially the third quarter of FY21, the fourth quarter of FY21, were the quarters where we did see a lot of growth happening. So is this kind of a number possible going forward as well?
Yes, of course, of course. See, it's not just about our company. See, the demand in housing finance is always huge. This is all because of more and more nuclear family, more and more, you can say, the urbanization or the development in the villages also. See, after this, what happened after this first COVID pandemic, there were almost like 6.5 to 7 crores of migration from urban cities. People moved to their native places. So there was demand in those areas also. We are already working in semi-urban and rural areas, and we had seen those things that people do require homes, because those people mainly affected were the EWS, LIG, and low income people, middle class people, lower income group people were there. So definitely it affected their lives, their growth, and everything. And even out of that, 30 to 35% are not going back again to metro cities or the bigger cities where they were working. So the demand is huge. Even if I can in a tier 3 city like Udaipur, or you can say in a small town in Maharashtra or anywhere else, people are not going back. People want to stay there. There are different segment, different housing finance companies where they can do their business along with their peer groups. So the demand is huge. From since I'm been working in this industry from last 8 to 9 years, and I can say the demand was never less. Most of the housing finance companies, and including us also, we did a great in this 1.5 year about the disbursement. Like, I'm aparting the COVID, when we started doing business again in the last month of August and September, we had all-time high disbursement in our company. And when the collection goes back to the pre-COVID level also in the month of September. So this was the highest collection month in our company also. So demand is huge. Demand would never be less, because we are focusing on mainly on rural areas nearby, like nearby city where we are working in. If we are working in Indore, so our focus is nearby Indore, say 50 to 100 kilometers, where the Pitampur and other smaller cities, smaller suburban areas came in. So where there is so much demand, because it's not that easy to buy a house in the main tier 1 city or the metro city. So people are moving on to those places, and there are opportunities also.
Right. And overall, if you go to see in terms of where the demand is concerned, how is the growth looking like from here on?
See, we recently touched, as in your last, you asked in your last question also, that we recently touched our loan book is of 101 crore. And in the next, definitely 15 to 18 months, we are looking for to become a systematically HFC organization. That's the first step, what we are looking on to reach a milestone of 500 crore book. So to reach this book, there must be what we are looking at in the next 15-18 months. Definitely there's a demand, and we were ready also. So we were ready for that also, that whether that would impact our business or not. But God's grace, it's not happening now. People have been vaccinated and everything. So see, in the next 18-24 months, we are totally focused on our business, to totally focus on in which areas we are operating. First, to get those areas, to get our branches, those in the very good profitable manner, and then look out for new areas also, because our main focus is on affordable housing and EWS LIG people. So definitely, and the government, there are so many government schemes in the Pradhan Mantri schemes also. There are chief minister, that Mukhyamantri scheme also. So there is a huge demand, and of course the best thing happened in our this 1.5 year, that we got a good source of fund from the PSU banks and the NHBs, where the borrowing cost was very less, which helped us to maintain our growth rate. to improve our asset quality, because earlier we were operating at a higher rate. Now, while getting the funds from these banks and NHBs, we are operating at a very good rate. So it helps us to maintain our asset quality also, and to cater the needs of the people also. Because still, if we can see in the rural and smaller towns, the banking is still not that up to the mark, though we are using a digital platform in the rural and other areas. But these small HFCs like us can have a very good growth rate in those areas.
Right. So, Ashish, when you're talking of around 500 crores worth of AUM, what's the kind of fundraise we could be looking at?
See, about fundraise, equity and debt goes hand in hand. Right now, recently we closed the equity raise through preferential allotment of 9.17 crores. And we are going to close. It's already been approved in our board meeting and everything. And so right now we are standing at around the net worth of around 65 crores. So if you say fundraise, so definitely we are looking with the different banks. We want to increase our denominator base. Right now we have around 9 to 10 lenders in our book, and definitely we are going for at least to add at least 7 to 8 new lenders in the next 4 to 5 months. So the book is leveraged at around 1.2x times this time. So definitely the next round, what we are thinking, I don't want to give a forward looking statement, but definitely for becoming a systematic organization company, a company must have a net worth of 80 crores, book size of 500 crores, where we can have, and what I am looking of the leverage is at around 2.5 to 3 times. That is the best thing, that is the best leverage you can maintain. So while getting the funds through equity, through preferential allotment, we are also looking at debt raising, and through different segments, through maybe term loans, co-lending, and different segments where we can raise the funds. And what we are doing, we are making awareness about our company through these platforms, through others platforms, through branding and everything, so that the people should also become aware that there is a company, Star Housing Finance Limited, which works in the affordable housing finance sector.
Right. So overall, right now, what's the kind of cost of funds that we are working with? And in the next, say, 12 to 18 months, how low do we aim to get it to?
Right now, see, earlier our cost of fund was at a higher rate. If I can say, earlier it was at around 13 to 14%, and what we were lending at, it was around 20 to 22%. But after getting in new professionals, see, we have been in this housing finance from last 12 years. But what I decided 2 years back, that we must incorporate some good professionals, because that was the need of the hour, and it must be transformed into a professional driven organization. It's not about me, it's not about only 1 or 2%, it's about the board, it's about the company, it's about the people who are working with. And I do take a lot of care about my people, about my employees, first of all. So it was a call that I took, that the company must have a professional people. Earlier there were only 14 to 15 people. Now we have almost 80 to 82 people on board. We are working in 5 states, 7 branches. So this is what we are thinking. So to transform. Sorry, I got out that your question. Please, can you, Hiral?
Yeah, go on. No, we were talking about the cost of funds, right?
Sorry. So I went to some other. So cost of fund, I said that earlier it was at 12 to 13%, and we were lending at 20%. So after getting good funds from NHB at a lower rate and the other PSUs, our cost of funds has come down to 9.3%, and we have also get on our that lending rate. Now we are lending at around 15 to 16%, and that has definitely improved our asset quality. That has made much more awareness about the company. And what we are looking, definitely right now our name stands around between 5 to 5.5%, and as more and more funds we get from the institutions, from the NHB, from the PSU banks at a lower rate, and including that equity also, we will definitely lower our borrowing, lower our lending rate, so that we comes in the competitive rate of other, maybe other HFCs, other institution, or maybe a small finance banks. So where we would stands around maybe at 12, 13%, where people, because see, it's a housing, it's a emotional attachment to the first time home buyers. It's not
Right.
that just, we are not looking for the second or third time home buyers. Our prime focus is on first time home buyers. And
Correct.
whenever there is a first time home buyer, he or she is emotionally attached to that thing. So we are also in this pandemic also, we make people aware that how much that how you have to fulfill those EMIs, your requirements, you have to take care of that also. So this is what we are all doing since the last 15-18 months.
Right. So overall, in terms of expansion as well, what is the plan in terms of geographical expansion and overall in terms of growth?
See, in earlier, if I'll say 18 months ago, as of 18 to 24 months ago, September 2019, we were only operating in Udaipur, Rajasthan, and the southern area of Rajasthan, and the nearby states like MP and Gujarat. But this is all we were just though there is business in Udaipur and the other areas also. But when I was looking for a pan India presence for a professional driven company, so we inaugurate almost 6 to 7 branches, and we do open Surat branch also in the first COVID of pandemic. So right now we are operating in 5 states, and we have a 7 physical branches. There is 15 digital presence also, POP, that digital presence also. So we are in Rajasthan, MP, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. So what we are focusing in the next phase, we are looking for in the northern part also and in the southern parts also. But that all happens that first make all these 6 7 branches, first let cater the needs of these branches, these areas. So up to that benchmark, what we're looking at, because see, my team right now, my team, it's capable of doing a business of 20 to 22 crores rate per month. So if I can cater the needs of those people in those areas, then I will look into some more states. So it was due in this March, in this first quarter. A couple of branches we are looking on this first quarter. Then after COVID to pandemic, we hold inaugurating new branches. But definitely in the maybe in the last quarter, we are going to open a couple of new more branches, maybe in the state of Karnataka, and there one more branch would be open in Rajasthan.
Right. And what's the growth outlook looking like, Ashish?
Growth outlook, as I said, that the demand has been huge, and there was reverse migration, and the people are not willing to go back to the urban and metro cities, like whosoever, even a trader or a merchant or a daily wager, they are not they don't want to go back to maybe cities like where they were working in Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, or Delhi, or Jaipur, anywhere else. So the demand is huge, and definitely the next phase, next round, what we have seen in the last 15 months, that we can see the still the 70 to 72% of India's population still lives in rural areas. So next phase is definitely the rural and the suburban areas, because now the growth or the demand of housing, it's because see, depending on our rate also, it's not possible for us to maintain to do business in the main city area, because there are other competitors. So why don't do you cater the needs of those other people, where you can have a small ticket size? It's not about, and we're not giving that huge amount of 30-35 lakhs. It's small ticket size, maybe of 5 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20-25 lakhs, because those people comes in that bracket also. And now the demand is huge. The demand will be there even for the next 1 or 2 years, because still if you can see the data also, there is a requirement, huge requirement of 6 to 6.5 crore of houses. And that data is not of the urban areas, that data is of suburban areas, the rural areas. We are also looking to introduce some new products, like just say from a kacha house to a pakka house, from uh, uh, chapda se chat tak, like this kind of product we are looking to introduce in the rural areas, where people can have a pakka house because they do have land or they possess this thing. So the growth will be great. And even not just for one company, there would be so many companies, like 8 to 10, 20 companies work in one areas without hampering anyone's business. Just the main thing would be that how they run their show, how how qualitative they do their business. That's the main thing. It's not just about quantitative, it's about the qualitative analysis.
Absolutely. And, there's a long roadmap ahead of you as well. Thank you, Ashish, so much for joining us on the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you, get insights from you. Congratulations once again on crossing a milestone, and good luck for the 500 crore milestone that you guys have set for yourselves. And speak to you soon again. Stay safe.
Thank you, Hiral. Thank you to your team, and thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.